Hey everybody, welcome to Tales from the Spooky Box. It's Halloween in the Spooky Box. We're just here like we always are, talking about comic book, talking about stuff. It's pretty good.
No different, except this time we're hat guy and non-hat guy from the famous podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know that podcast with the hat guy?
We're dressed exactly as we always are.
Yeah, but you have your hat on, like you sometimes do.
Yeah, it's my normal hat.
And I don't, absolutely.
But we're here to talk about a cool comic book. It's called Batman the Long Halloween.
Yeah.
It's a very good one, and next week we're going to talk about the sequel to it, Dark Victory.
And this week's Halloween, and so we were like, oh, obviously we're going to be in costume for our Halloween episode. So we're in costume.
So here we are. So guys, I want to tell you all about a comic book called Batman the Long Halloween. It is on this part of my notes. It was written by Jeph Loeb, drawn by Tim Sale, inked by Tim Sale, lettered by Richard Starkings, and colored by Gregory Wright. It's a very cool book. It's the second year into Batman's career. It kind of is in the same continuity as year one. This is going away. It's in the same continuity as year one.
How will they know who you are?
Dude, it's going to be really confusing now. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
But it's in the same kind of timeline as year one.
Okay. It's Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
I am Gandalf. It is, Gordon is still a lieutenant. Harvey is there. Harvey Dent, he's the district attorney. And Bruce is still kind of figuring out what it is to be Batman, how he deals with the criminal elements as well as the super criminal elements.
Yes.
So the big crux of the book basically is that someone starts killing on holidays. There's murders. There's specifically hits on seemingly enemies of the Falcone family, crime family.
And then members of the Falcone family soon
eventually,
after.
yes.
Yeah.
Which is why it gets confusing of like, what's going on here? What's the motivation? What's happening? Mm-hmm. So it's basically the story of how Batman, what is it? Batman, you know Batman? It's the story about Batman.
I do know Wait, this is a Batman book?
Yes.
I must have read the
So it's the story of how Batman, Jim Gordon.
Oh, Catwoman?
Well, she's also there.
Alfred?
He's also there. Batman, Jim Gordon,
I'll just keep naming
and
names.
Harvey Dent team together to try to work together to bend but not break the rules and figure out who is the Holiday Killer and stop them before they can kill again.
This is a great book. Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale are a force.
They're a powerhouse.
We've talked about them before. I know we talked about them in, was it Spider-Man Blue? Did they do that?
We mentioned Spider-Man Blue. We mentioned Superman for All Seasons.
Oh, for All Seasons. Yes, I forgot.
And there's another one. They did both of those after this book. Superman for All Seasons was directly after this, and then they were in the middle of developing Spider-Man Blue when DC then approached them to do a sequel to this book, Dark Victory, which we'll be talking about next week on the show. So the way that this did come about, though, initially, is that in 1993, 94, 95, Sale and Loeb did these Batman Halloween specials.
Yes. Yeah.
That are just single specials. They're like 80 pages each.
You can feel how they're like prototypes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I have a few notes about those. It's interesting looking at those and seeing how they almost play like a prequel for The Long Halloween. You can kind of look at these three books as a trilogy, even though there is now a third book coming out. Tim Sale has passed on in 2022, but they're having different artists in every of the 10 issues of the last Halloween. But these kind of are like a proto-Long Halloween. It's all kind of slowly coming together across these three issues. The first one is kind of rough, and then the second one feels more together, and by the third one, it really feels like we've arrived.
Yes.
The color palettes are very similar from Gregory Wright. Yep, Gregory Wright. Tim Sale has kind of finally arrived in his style. It didn't feel quite like he was comfortable in his own work yet in those earlier ones. But by the third one, it started to really come together. And the same thing with Jeph Loeb's writing. They're starting to really nail that kind of like film noir tone. All of these books really have the feeling of being in like the 1940s.
Yes.
In the way that like Batman the Animated Series has that kind of strange, ambiguous, timeless thing of we've got cars from the 40s, but we also have like 90s technology at times and stuff like that. And Batman, I think, really thrives. Batman really thrives in that kind of weird in between. Where like the same way that like Spider-Man is like a tech guy now. I hate that. It doesn't make sense to me. When Batman is too technologically savvy, it feels weird to me. It doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, because like he's very physical in some of these old books that are the kind of the classics. Do you think of this? Do you think of Dark Knight Returns that we always go back to, where it's like, yeah, he's a genius and yeah, he is like techie, but But he's also like, he's at his best when he is just out there like in the field doing work.
Well, he's the world's greatest detective.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this book really highlights that in a way that a lot of Batman comics kind of sidestep.
Yeah.
And it's a harder thing to write than Batman punches guy.
Yeah.
You know, trying to write a convincing, compelling mystery story is not easy.
Totally.
But I think that they do a pretty good job of it here, and they sprinkle a lot of red herrings, a lot of clues throughout the entire thing. But back to what I was saying there, whoa.
There it goes.
Ooh, I need hairspray. So they did these original specials. They're very popular. And then in 96, The Long Halloween came out as part of DC's push for more like prestige standalone stories that new people could just jump right into.
Yeah.
Which is why it is in this kind of earlier continuity without Robin and stuff like that yet.
Yeah. Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah. So initially it was just going to be about gangsters, basically, and about how basically the Gotham turned from this place of organized crime to a place of chaos with going from the transition from The Godfather to like supervillains, basically. Yeah. And then there was always something missing. It felt like Jeph Loeb couldn't figure out like, what's the key? What's the thing? And he was at a convention and he was talking to Mark Waid about it. Mark Waid, the human encyclopedia of DC Comics. He's actually even writing the currently ongoing new history of the DC universe, which is really good.
Yeah.
I suggest reading it. It's really interesting. It's kind of like a textbook, but as a story being told.
Yeah.
Really cool.
More interesting than a textbook for sure.
Yeah. It's really fun to read. He suggested, you've got to do something with Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Because that's never been touched before. Nobody's done that before. So you got to do something. If it's that early days, if that's the era, then like do that. And that's kind of what brought all that together. It does a really good job of, like it was trying to do, bridge the gap between year one and then more modern stories that are more like supervillain focused and things like that, where if you just read year one, there's no supervillains in that. And you would be kind of confused if you read that with no other Batman media, because you'd say, well, where's the Joker?
Yeah.
Where's Mr. Freeze? Where's all these characters? And they aren't there.
Yeah.
But that's because Gotham is slowly turning into this other thing. Gotham is becoming darker as the world of the Dark Knight is becoming darker. He himself is becoming darker. It kind of mirrors him in an interesting way. And Gordon kind of brings that up at one point. But that is the kind of where it comes from. That's the general story of the thing. What do you think about this dang book, Michael?
I think the reason why like adaptations of Batman and even the comics keep sort of kind of coming back to, if not this exact story, at least elements from this story.
Yeah, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight specifically take a lot from Long Halloween and Dark Victory, and The Batman takes also a lot from The Long Halloween.
Totally, no, 100%. And there's a reason for that. It's because it kind of does live in both of those worlds. It lives in like street level Gotham, and then it lives in, Batman.
Crazy town up in the sky on a plane with the Joker.
Yes, no, exactly. It can do both, and it does both really well. Get you a Batman who can do both,
dude.
As I keep saying to everybody, it does the noir thing
so well.
Super well. Yeah, 100%. You've talked about year one as your all-time favorite comic book, and it's like, like you said, this continues that, I think, in a really faithful way, even though it wasn't the same creative team.
Yeah,
like you can definitely see it as a spiritual successor to it. And
there was a whole era in comics after year one that was kind of like this pseudo year one continuity was kind of created, where all of these books, especially from like the Legends of the Dark Knight run that we talked about a little bit last time with the cult, they all kind of live in this post year one space where they'll make reference to things that happen in year one, character choices of year one, things that shifted because of year one, things that didn't exist before that. And you get a lot of that in this. And then especially in Dark Victory, when a lot of those characters come back in a sort of a way. But there is a lot of continuity between these two things. Even with like you full on are shown, it almost looks like a shot directly like copied, not redrawn from year one of that one of Bruce under the lamppost with his two dead parents.
Yes.
Like it looks like it is literally Mazzucchelli's lines.
Yeah, it's like traced.
I don't know if it is. But it looks a lot like it.
It wouldn't
so
shock
you get a lot of these references to that. And that's an image that's been done like a billion times over since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, the connections there are really, really cool. And then seeing how that all kind of is growing out of that, there is a lot more fantastical stuff in this. So it doesn't like perfectly bridge that gap. It feels like quite a jump has happened because now all of these supervillains are here and established.
Yeah, and they're just already in Arkham because Batman's presumably already faced them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
in the last year.
Yeah, Batman putting on his anti-Joker suit for the first time in his 8-year career type thing. Yeah,
totally.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Except in this case, it's Two-Face because he has met all these other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a really interesting kind of noir feeling that I really like. It feels like The Godfather. It feels like that kind of like Humphrey Bogart, heavy shadows, like the dame walked into my office and like all the Italian guys talk like exactly you like the stereotype you would imagine and stuff like that. There's the Irish mob, all these different things.
Yeah. Literally the first scene where Falcone is like, I imported these
Try the
cannolis straight from Italy.
Yeah.
It's like just maybe import a cook from Italy and just have him
That's
make them in the
ridiculous.
kitchen. You don't have to have
impossible.
them made in Italy and then shipped over fresh. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, but it's spare no expense, man.
Yeah, you're right.
At Johnny
John
Vidi's
Hammond.
wedding,
Yeah.
you spare no expense, man.
Yeah, man. It's hot sometimes.
Yeah, but
never as hot as the night Johnny Vidi got married.
That's true. In
gotta-
this studio right now,
It's a little warm.
yeah,
Maybe that's why it's so red in here. Like it's like it's like an oven.
it's mirroring my emotional state. Speaking of which, let's talk about color a little bit. Gregory Wright's colors in this are really, really, really good. There's a lot of moments where it does kind of just do what the scene needs it to do, but he will take these really beautiful impressionistic color choices and like use really more monotone, limited color palettes a lot of the time that are just beautiful things. Like there's really bright over the top colors for certain characters like the Joker and stuff like that. You get really kind of muted ones when we're working with the Scarecrow or Mad Hatter, like things really, Gregory Wright's colors. So much of this stuff is, I mean, comic books in general. Yeah. It's like, to me, it's like the way that like movies are such a big part of, music is such a big part of movies where if the music isn't quite right, it completely changes a movie. And if you take an okay movie and put a really good score behind it, it makes it a lot better than it is.
If Calvin watches this episode, he's going to be so mad at you.
Calvin is a silly boy and he can call me all kinds of names, but he's wrong. Think about Tron Legacy.
Our friend Calvin doesn't like how much Marshall talks about music and score.
Because he doesn't understand genius. He's not on my level.
Marshall is.
Think of Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Tron Legacy is a very okay movie, but that score is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it elevates it to a whole other level that it would never be at otherwise.
Totally.
That movie would be so long and boring if it were not for Daft Punk.
Yeah.
But that music just like keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
That is color in comics.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Where like if you have an okay colorist on really good lines and really great writing, it's fine. But if you've got a really good colorist who's really good at their job, it's fantastic.
Well, I was thinking that with skin tones as I look through this. Like most comic book colorists don't really put a whole lot of thought into skin tones. It is just simply what it is. Everybody has their own distinct skin tone, and
it's vastly different depending on the scene.
Yes, no, it is 100%.
Yeah. Sometimes Bruce is really pale.
Yeah.
If you put him next to a different character, you're balancing those things out. Selena has to be different than Bruce, has to be different than Alfred, has to be different than Harvey. Like that is actually, it's interesting that you bring that up because that is something that I specifically like was noticing at different times.
No, absolutely. I remember one scene, I think it was in this one. See, this and Dark Victory are so close.
They really go hand in hand.
I think it's in this one though. Was it, oh my gosh, Falcone's daughter. I'm blanking. Sophia. She's behind bars and she like reaches out to like kiss somebody. Yeah. And she's just so washed out, like more than she is throughout the entire rest of the book. And it's, that's exactly it. I looked at this, I'm like, that's not usually how she looks. That's why it stood out so much. Yeah. But it shows you where she's at in the story. Like it says something about about the existence of the character in that moment of the narrative. Yeah. So cool.
They're great little creative choices. Yeah. And you get that in like, you can compare it to the Halloween specials, which are the exact same creative team. But that first one especially, Wright colors it a lot more traditionally.
Yeah.
Of the time, very 90s colors, that kind of like deep, like darker colors, but very saturated and a lot of airbrushing.
Welcome to my world, pal.
But it doesn't really serve Sale's lines.
Yeah.
It's the way that he does these much more flat colors come Long Halloween and Dark Victory. It works really well with Tim Sale's work. Yeah. And Sale's stuff is incredible. Yeah. Like, he's one of my favorite. I cried when he passed. He was one of my favorite artists of all time. He's one of the people that got me into the medium.
Yeah.
The ability that he has to use these very deep black shadows to make silhouettes work. Silhouettes you would think are very easy. It's not easy.
Not easy.
You still have to imagine in your head the entire 3 dimensions of a guy. It can't just be like that. You know, to really understand a figure really well, you still have to have all of that kind of living in your head. And that's really rough to try to do.
I particularly loved how everybody looks like a human being vaguely, except for the Joker, whose jawline comes out to about here.
Yeah. The teeth are most of his face. I mean, all the supervillains kind of have like an otherworldly thing to them, which is really interesting.
The Penguin has some of that too.
Yeah, because that's a very intentional choice that the mobsters all look like regular humans and the supervillains all look like crazy.
Yeah.
Like over the top, proportions pushed to the max.
I'm impressed by this one because it brings in so many important key players from the Batman canon. And does them all justice.
Like, name 5.
Nobody is what?
Name 5. 5 key players.
Name 5 key players. Falcone.
Okay.
Falcone daughter.
Okay.
Falcone son. Maroni.
3, 4.
Maroni's dad.
5.
It's perfect. They're all in it. They all get time. And there's also everybody else, like the supervillains and Batman and Alfred and Catwoman.
Name 5 supervillains.
Catwoman.
1.
Penguin.
2.
Two-Face.
3.
Joker.
4.
Penguin.
5.
Mr. Freeze. No, he doesn't show up yet.
That's 5.
Spoilers, sorry. Poison Ivy gets St. Patrick's Day because green.
Yeah.
I guess, which is kind of fun. Also, I will never get over how she was drawn with, like, I mean, you've seen her with red hair and with vines and stuff, but the big plant hair is very much fun.
It's very cool.
And the way it just takes up whatever part of the room she's in, like weeds.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's the best. I can't think of a better depiction of her, at least just from a visual artistic sense.
Yeah, I think that it kind of monsterizes like her deal in a way that other things don't, where they just kind of turn her into like sexy woman.
Yes.
And this is a much more interesting visual choice, where a lot of these characters aren't really redesigned necessarily. They're just exaggerated.
Yeah.
She's one of few that is actually changed, not like significantly, but in a way that makes just a small enough change that it makes a huge difference.
Yes, 100%.
I love Alfred and his place in these stories because he's always doing what he can for Bruce. But it's always with a wit and with wry humor. Bruce will scold him for overstepping his bounds, but they both know that their relationship isn't that of like an employee and employer. It's much more of a father and son.
Yes. Totally.
So he can, so many times in comics, you know, Alfred will say something that your butler would not say to you. Mm-hmm. And Bruce will be like, hey, quit it. Yeah. And Alfred will say, I'll tender my resignation if you want me to.
Yes. Yeah.
And then that never happens.
Yes. It's his attitude, and that's
very he's familiar. So sassy.
Yeah.
And I love that because Bruce needs someone to do that to him. And that's when Dick comes along, he fills out that role really well as well. But having Alfred there to kind of like not let Bruce take himself so seriously.
Yeah.
Of like pointing out, like, I don't know if it's in one of the Christmas specials or which one it is, but there's Bruce like comes home from something and is like, oh man, should I go? And it is in one of the Halloween specials. One of them is kind of a Christmas special.
The third one with Poison Ivy and the Joker.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But there's the one where there's like a woman who we eventually find out is like a serial man killer basically and just takes their fortune.
Yeah.
He's enraptured by this woman and is like, should I go out there and be with her or should I go and do Batman stuff? I'm going to do Batman stuff. And Alfred is like, oh, yes, I was afraid that for once you would make a rational decision, sir. And it's like, that's so good.
He comes back and does this with Selena in this one too. Like,
Yeah.
same deal. And he's like always on his side, but he's a little.
Yeah, it's like, maybe you should invite Miss Kyle. She seems to bring a different kind of energy to your life.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Little hint, Master Wayne.
Yeah. It's
Master
just
Wayne.
so good. Alfred and Gordon both are like such integral parts of this character that, especially in modern comics, Gordon is still in there, but not as present. And Alfred has been dead for years. Yeah. So it's such whiplash reading these older books with both of those characters in it compared to modern books. They're still good, but it's just missing such an integral part of that mythos, not having those guys in there. That cooperation between Batman and Gordon, where he'll just be at a crime scene looking around. There's a great scene in the Dark Victory where they're doing a crime scene investigation and the new DA shows up. And Gordon is like, oh, have you met? And like just so casually introducing Batman, just like, oh, here's a guy that I talk about sometimes. And she's like, why is he here? Like, why is he touching evidence?
Yeah. He does his like vanishing mid-conversation thing, and Gordon says something about like, he usually says goodbye.
Yeah, right. He's usually says bye.
We're talking way too much about Dark Victory.
It's just one little line.
I know. Except, a lot of one little lines.
But yeah, that's good. Yeah. I really love the way they pepper in these moments that imply that the killer is Harvey. Like how he's working in the basement
of that,
seemingly on the gun.
Yeah.
Your hair is wet on New Year's. Do you think that, because long story short, we do eventually find out that seemingly, at least, Alberto Falcone, initially one of the victims, had faked his death and was actually the Holiday Killer.
Yeah.
And then we find out there were maybe two Holiday Killers. Yes. And that one of them was Harvey's wife, Gilda.
Yep.
And that it's this tragic thing of all these long nights in the office and the inability to have a child, which is such a horrible trauma, has just broken her.
Yep.
And she thinks if she kills these people, then she will get Harvey to herself finally.
He can have his fresh start with her.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be all these late nights and all the work he has to put in.
And they don't even spend time on it, which is crazy. Yep. Like it's just this tragic, terrible reveal at the very end of the book.
Yeah.
That's literally like what it ends on.
It was such a good ending.
It's a gut punch.
And you don't see it. Like that's one of those things. It makes a great, like, I think of like Agatha Christie novels, right? And what makes them great is that you, the reader, can always figure it out.
You can put it together.
Yeah, you totally could. But you don't, because you're not the genius detective. You're
usually not Hercule Poirot.
That was a perfect pronunciation.
Tell you what, though, I got those little gray cells, and I'm putting them to work when I'm reading mystery novels.
Yeah, you do. Did you, if you go back to the first time you read this, did you guess who either one of the killers were?
No, I certainly thought maybe it's Harvey, because that's the interesting thing too, is that there's kind of a meta narrative being told here where this story is also about the creation of Two-Face. So they're leveraging your own knowledge of the future against you.
Totally.
Where you're reading this and thinking, oh, well, he becomes Two-Face. So
and they
all these hints here, it makes sense that it would be him. But then that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about is, do you think, because Gilda in her ending monologue makes the implication, or says that at least that she has the belief that Harvey picked up the mantle and started doing these killings, like before he became Two-Face.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that is true?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think that because I think that would make. I'm choosing to think no.
Do you think it's supposed to be ambiguous?
Yeah, I think they did mean to leave it open to your own interpretation.
Okay.
I think it's most interesting though when he is, just to think of him as like a very flawed person with the best intentions until he becomes Two-Face, that is. Yeah. But like up until then, he's like, he's really, really mad about organized crime in his city and he's trying to actually fix it. Yeah. And so, but like a lot of the little hint moments that are supposed to imply that he is the Holiday Killer. Yeah. Like they end up making him look really bad. Like one of the Falcone crime family dies and he says, well, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Two shots to the head.
Yeah. Essentially just being, well, he deserved that. And so he plays so dirty that it seems like it's supposed to be him, you know?
Yeah.
And you as the reader almost want it to be him at that point, because it's like, oh, he's going down the road and I've figured out who he's going to be because I already know, you know? And so it's like, that's what makes the experience of reading these so much fun. You know, it's just, those little winks, those little, like, you know, they play with what you already know, like you said, and then turn it up on its head at the end of it. It's so cool. Yeah.
It's a very good book. I like it a lot. It is worth reading. The legacy of this book, it became very, very popular immediately.
Yeah.
It inspired so many other things that, like we said, Batman Begins takes elements of this. The Dark Knight especially takes heavily from this.
Yeah.
The idea of like Harvey they fake his death at one point. They don't fake his death, but they take advantage of the fact that they think that he's dead. They do that in The Dark Knight with Gordon, where you think that he's been killed. And then they do kind of the same thing that happens with, the same thing that happens with Batman in this comic where he's dressed as the guard.
Yeah.
They do that, the same thing with Gordon in that movie. A lot of the same ideas, you know, Harvey falling, all this different stuff. There's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
But this book is just very good. However, on its own, I think it's good. I think it is made so much better by what we're going to talk about next week. Which is
Dark Victory.
It's Batman Dark Victory. It's the direct follow-up to this. It came out a few years later, 1999. But yeah, thanks everybody. That's pretty much. Do you have any other things you want to say, really? About the Long Halloween?
That's pretty much
starring Batman?
All I want to say is read it. Go read that dang book. It's really, really solid. And it's Halloween time. Halloween is in the name. Read it this week. If you're watching this later on, still read it. Pretend it's Halloween, because Halloween's the best holiday of the year.
I draw pretty pictures. Here's 3 of them. Boom, boom, boom. Some of those are from Bat-tober, where there were prompts, and I drew something based on that prompt. A few of them were inspired by The Long Halloween.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Love that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Michael wrote a book. It's called Marauders. Boom.
Wow, you pronounced it normal this time.
It's so Halloween. Good. Everything's upside down.
I have some Halloween, some very autumnal poems in there.
Well,
go read that.
Check those ones out.
They're fantastic.
There it is. Again, Amazon. Check it out. It's a book. Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate your time. It's always an honor to have you here with us. We're almost to 100 subscribers right now.
Yes.
As of this moment, I can check really quick.
Yes, have it. I saw 90 the other night, but let's see if we've got any since then.
As of this moment, we are at 94.
Oh, let's go.
So you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here.
Seriously.
A couple recent commenters. Thanks for commenting, Mr. Slippin' Idiot. For the
what did he say?
He suggested Batman Gotham County line. He said it's crazy. This is on our
sweet
episode about the cult.
I'm gonna read that this week. That's gonna be great.
Then Ocarina 654 said, "Holy crap! I got to read this comic. I don't think I've ever heard of it, but this sounds incredible. I'm glad I randomly clicked on this video. I think you've got a new subscriber here. Keep up the great work." And
Ocarina,
I responded to both of these and said we love you and stuff like that.
Heck yeah, we do.
Thanks for being here, guys. It means a lot. We are excited to be doing this and building this up, and the fact that you guys are interested and want to engage is really cool. So let us know what you think about The Long Halloween. Let us know if you have other Batman books that you really like. Let us know about those. That's it. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yes.
If this is the last time we ever see you, thanks for being here, and if not, thanks for wasting your time with us.
Happy Halloween. Keep reading comics. We love you.
Good luck.